Hello there, Geminis. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the month of August, and I am breaking this down into two different sections. So the first section will cover August the 1st through the 15th, and the second section will be looking at August the 16th through the end of the month. So let's just dive in, shall we? The first thing that I'm looking at for you, Geminis, is your environment during the first part of August. So environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Usually it's home, but not always. You may sort of want to have an open mind about what I could be looking at here for you. So it looks to me like whatever's going on with your environment, you're not feeling like this isn't really I feel like the environment may be a little bit run down, or there's something in the environment that's a little bit run down that really could use a little bit of a facelift or a propping up, so to speak. Okay. The next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about your subconscious leanings during this time frame. And it looks to me like there's something that has taken you by surprise. And so your subconscious is really working on, whoa, where did that come from? And what do I really want to do with that? With that information is what I'm hearing. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style. I do think, Geminis, during this time frame, you are learning, you're focusing on your learning and finding new information about things that make you happy, things you're interested in, things that are fascinating you. As far as your communication style, I do feel like there's a lot of communication around emotions and around feelings and also around a sense of security and how you're feeling about the level of security that's in your life right now and what level of security you want to go to right now. Okay, next during this time frame, what we're looking at is work, and it looks to me like there's some kind of new, inspiring, intriguing, fascinating idea that is coming to you that has to do with work. So this could be about some kind of side hustle that you're starting or some kind of project that you're adding, or maybe even some kind of job that you're thinking you might like to work that you never really had considered before, because this is a new idea, okay? Next thing I'm looking at during this time frame does talk to me about that point where your personality is growing or expanding. I think that as we're looking at this particular time frame, you may be coming into a place where you're realizing that you don't necessarily want to be so much in collaboration or partnership with other people. You may be deciding, you know what, I don't want to work for somebody else. I don't want to have that employee-employer relationship going on. Or, maybe I'm not so sure that I actually want to be partnered up romantically. Maybe I want to do my own thing and not have anybody to answer to. There's all kinds of different ways this can come in, but it looks to me like you're really feeling like, you're really kind of bucking for your own independence here in more than one way. Okay, so the next thing that I'm looking at for you Geminis has to do with those things that you stand for. And I feel like there's something that you have sort of kept quiet. I don't know if you would necessarily call it a secret, but I don't think you were necessarily sharing information with just anybody and everybody either. And it looks like, somebody's kind of confronted you about this, like, hey, why weren't you up front with this? And I think you've explained to them, I didn't really feel like it was appropriate to be upfront about this with just everybody. Okay, and so how the other person feels after you've had this little conversation is they feel like, that you were waiting for the right time, basically, trying to make sure that the time was right before you started sharing this information with just anybody and everybody. All right, so it looks like they kind of have an understanding of what your motivation was once you guys have talked. The next thing that shows up for me is the lesson or experience of this particular time frame. And I feel like there is there is travel plans that are changing, or maybe even travel that's changing on the fly. But I feel like for most of you, this is actually travel plans that are changing, being adjusted, being delayed, being pushed out. Okay? And I think that for right now, and regarding this time frame, I think that you're deciding, you know what, I just want to hold and not make any plans right now. I may decide later on to just jump up and go if everything looks good. But for right now, I just want to hold steady and not be doing that at the moment. Okay, so that's what we have as a lesson or experience right now. At the same time, I do see you, spending time at home and actually doing some things that you're really excited about doing at home. So you could be, instead of taking a vacation, you could be deciding easily with the cards I have on the table here to turn that into a staycation and just do some things that make you feel really good about home, or that you really have always kind of wanted to do and never had time to do at home, that type of thing. But some things that make you feel really good and happy and inspired. And then the last thing that we have coming up here for this particular time frame, Gemini, shows me that you have a decision to make once we get towards the end of this time frame. Once we're like the 14th, 15th of August, there's a decision in front of you at that point, and really whatever you decide will be just fine. But I don't think you're feeling like you have a lot of choice here. I think you are actually making the choice based on what other people expect from you rather than looking at what do I actually want. Still, like I said, not a bad choice here. Just it comes across to me that you're not really feeling like there's much of a choice, even though technically there is. Okay? You're just not feeling like there's much of one because you feel like repercussions if you chose something different might not be what you wanted. All right, so that is the first half of the month, Gemini. I'm going to come back in a few more minutes and we'll hit that second half. Thank you very much for being here. And remember, we do still have our contest running on this channel where every time you put a comment on a video, it gets counted and put into a random drawing to see who might win the prize. And your prize, you actually get to choose from either a goodie bag or one of the services that I offer, and there's a list of them that I make available for the prize. One's a 30-minute reading, or you can choose 30 candles, or you can choose a reiki session. So lots of cool prizes if you're into this channel. And yeah, all you have to do to enter is just comment on my videos. I would say if you want to give Bonnie Snow a good run for her money, you're going to have to comment on quite a few videos, but don't spam any one video. Only one comment per video counts towards the drawing. All right, so I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, we're going to talk about the second half of August. Welcome back, Geminis. This time we're looking at the 16th through the 31st of August. Let's just jump right in. The first thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your environment, and your environment is any place, once again, where you have energy or effort invested. And I'm seeing that what's going on is you're sharing your environment with somebody who is really grumpy or really moody during this time frame, Geminis. Next thing that shows up for me is your subconscious leanings, and what you have on your mind is this idea about somebody that you were in some sort of partnership with, that now you're having a hard time being on the same page with that person, and so your subconscious is really working around what should I do with this situation. Okay. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style. So Geminis, Geminis, Geminis. I think there is something new that you're fascinated by and that you're learning about. I think curiosity is leading you to learn about it. You may even be taking some kind of classes or talking to some kind of mentor, but there's some way or other that you're allowing yourself to actually work with this new and fascinating idea and be in a very hands-on type of mode of learning with it. Now, as far as communication, I think that as you're communicating during this time frame, you're trying to really be as positive as you can, and I think that you're trying to communicate in such a way that you show other people the truth of things without being abrasive about it, and really just trying to help them see their way through their own situations without actually butting in and overstepping your boundaries and making decisions for them. I think you're just trying to help them to see the light about a situation, or at least one situation. Next thing I'm looking at is work, and it looks like you are going back to work during this time frame. So whether you had vacation or some time out of work, I do see you getting back into work again as we look at the end of August. Now, the other thing that comes up, or I should say the next thing that comes up, because we've got quite a few other things still, but the next thing that comes up talks to me about that part of your personality, which is growing or expanding right now. And it looks like what's going on is you have some situations that have been, long-term types of debates or causes of tension that I think you really thought those were over and put to bed, and we see those kind of coming back up again during this part of the month, coming back up again so that you can figure out how to deal with them and how to actually put them to bed permanently. Next thing I'm looking at does talk to me about something that you stand for or defend. And this looks like there was something that came back from the past that triggered some negative memories. Could have been a person, could have been an event. And I think that somebody has asked you about this, asked you to explain this, or maybe even confronted you about this situation. And it looks to me like after you've had this conversation with this other person, it looks like, there's kind of tense energy back and forth between the two of you. I think that this conversation did not really go so well. They have one view about whatever this is that's come back that you've been thinking about from the past, where you have another one that is just not nearly as good as theirs. And so there's a clashing there. There's a disagreement there. Okay. And then the next thing I'm looking at talks to me about the lesson or experience of this particular time frame. I do feel like there's somebody you're interacting with during this lesson or experience who is really feeling pretty emotional and having a hard time holding back on those emotions, maybe even like excessive, inappropriate type of emotions. And so I think that this is somebody who is coming to you and talking to you about things, thinking that maybe you can help somehow. I don't feel like you can necessarily like get into the middle of their situation and help in that way, but I do think that maybe by hearing them when you have a chance to, because I feel like they're going to be overflowing. They may want to talk your ear off like all day and all night. And you may have other obligations you have to take care of, but by hearing them when you have the chance to, I think actually does help them a lot. I do see you spending some time with friends during this time. This could be this friend, but it could also be other friends as well, and really enjoyable time is what I would pull out of that generally. There is this idea that there's something going on where and I think it's tied to your person who is really feeling emotional and really wants to just talk to you right now. I think that I think that you're allowing them to dampen your own mood, and you're having a hard time seeing the sunshine in the day for yourself. So you want to be really careful about that and make sure that you have clear boundaries so that you can nurture yourself and take care of yourself, even with this person who's in your sphere of influence being in such a different, not happy type of place. Okay. And then once we get to the end of the month, Gemini, we do see you really hopeful about something coming to fruition. I think that you're making it looks to me like you're making steps towards reaching a goal that you have, and you're making enough steps towards reaching that goal that I think you're seeing the end of that project before you complete that goal is coming to where it's in sight now for you. Okay. So thank you very much for being here, Geminis. I do appreciate it. Thank you also to those of you who are participating in the contest. Thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions and watching these videos and sharing and liking. All of you guys' support is what makes me able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everyone have a fantastic month. I'll see you back here next time. Peace out.